Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the show for leaders who want real results, not more noise. Join Emanuel Rose as he helps business builders turn AI from a confusing add-on into a practical advantage with clearer messaging, stronger trust, and smarter systems. If you felt the shift happening in real time, you're not imagining it. In the agentic pivot, Emanuel calls it the move from experimenting with AI to building with it, so it supports your team, your brand, and your growth. Let's get into it.
Last year, the loudest company in AI sales told the market it can replace your whole sales team. This spring, TechCrunch reported what was really happening inside. Former employees said they were losing 70 to 80% of the customers that came through the door. The machine wrote a beautiful cold email, but almost nobody stayed. So here's the question for this morning. If the software can write the email, why is the inbox still ignoring it? Here's the human in the loop. Over the last 30 years of prospecting, the very best human prospector I have known is one that can create conversation and connection unbelievably quick and easy within almost that 2.6 seconds of attention. And I don't think that any agent's ever going to be able to copy what this person's able to do, which is to have the warm smile, even over the phone, and generate connection and conversation. No restraint. So I think it's interesting to talk about agentification of the sales prospecting process, but there's some parts that humans are still best at. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI. I'm Emanuel Rose. This is a special topic show. Today we're talking about B2B prospecting with AI, and here's why it matters this week. Salesforce just surveyed more than 4,000 sellers. 87% of them already use AI somewhere in their sales cycle. We have stopped at the early stage, and 87% is the floor now. Four things we're going to look at today. The news reshaping how prospecting works. My hot take, who's winning and who's exposed. And one simple workflow you can run before Friday and probably get better results in your prospecting. Let's start with the Salesforce number because that sets the table. The 2026 State of Sales Report surveyed over 4,000 sales professionals. 87% are using AI. 54% say they've already used AI agents, and nearly 9 in 10 plan to by 2027. Here's the part that you can use. Those sellers expect agents to cut their prospect research time by 34% and their email drafting time by 36%. Read that the way I do. That's about a third of the grunt work gone. Not the thinking, the grunt work. Who to call and why is still your job as the sales professional. Second story. Salesforce just made its Agentforce prospecting agent generally available. It runs inside the CRM you already pay for. It builds a ranked prospecting list for every rep, finds the right contacts, explains the timing, and drafts the outreach before the rep even sits down. HubSpot is doing the same with Breeze, so is Microsoft. The operator takeaway is simple. The prospecting agent is moving into the software you already own. That squeezes the standalone startups from above. Third story, it's a company called Rocks, just raised money at a $1.2 billion valuation. They build what they call agentic CRM, autonomous agents that research, prospect, enrich, and run the meeting. Their customers include Ramp, MongoDB, and New Relic. Now hold on to this. TechCrunch reported Rocks was projected to finish 2025 near $8 million in revenue at a 1.2 billion in value on roughly 8 million in revenue. That is not a bet on better email. That's a bet that agents replace the system of record itself. Fourth story, Clay raised $100 million at $3.1 billion valuation, led by Capital G, which is Alphabet's growth fund. Clay isn't trying to be your robot rep. It's the data layer underneath everybody else. 150 plus data sources in one place. And they shipped a tool called Sculpture that lets you build a prospecting workflow by typing a sentence in English. You can write something like, find me companies that raised a Series B, or hired a VP of sales and visited my pricing page, and it builds the list. Remember that contrast. Rox is selling the autonomous rep. Clay is selling the picks and shovels. We'll come back to which one I'd buy first in a little bit. And the fifth story is really the backdrop for it all. That company from the cold open, it's 11x, backed by A16Z and Benchmark. TechCrunch reported they'd been claiming customers they didn't have, using fake logos and inflating their revenue by counting customers who'd already canceled inside their 90-day break clause. The founder stepped back to chairman. The chief tech officer took over as CEO. The mechanism is worth understanding because it's a lesson in how hype gets sold. They wrote 1-year contracts with a 90-day escape hatch. Customer could try it for 3 months and walk. But the company booked the full year of revenue the day the deal was signed, even for the people who'd already left. On paper, growth, in reality, an empty room. Their story changed the whole category. The first question buyers ask now isn't how good is the email, it's show me the customers who have stayed. So here's my hot take. AI SDRs don't have a copy problem. They have a deliverability and trust problem. Think about what every vendor sold you. Write more emails faster to more people. But the benchmark studies this year keep landing in the same place. In one large paired send analysis, AI-written cold emails replied at about 4%, against a little over 5% for the human-written version. Close, but the human still won. And here's the killer. AI sent mail got flagged as spam at roughly 8%, against 3% for the human. More than double. So when you pour more volume through the machine, you don't get more pipeline. You just burn your domain out faster, and you train every inbox to recognize your voice and tune you out. There's one exception worth naming. In software, where buyers already expect a machine to write the first line, AI actually edged out humans in that same data. So know your buyer. If your market is sick of robot email, sounding like one is a tax. If your market shrugs at it, you've got more room. Either way, the spam problem doesn't care how clever your words are. The bottleneck was never writing the email, it was earning the open. More robots making more noise is not the fix. It is the disease. Here's the line I want you to take away. The teams winning with AI did not fire their reps. They put the machine on research and on signal and kept the human on the relationship. Amplify your people. Don't try to replace them. The market just showed you in public what replacement actually costs. Key companies and tools. Let me walk the field with you, because who you buy from tells you how exposed you are. Start with Clay. Clay is the data and signal layer. One subscription, 150 plus providers, enrichment and scoring in one place. Their free tier means you can touch it today. If you're a marketer or an agency owner, this is the one I put my hands on first. Clay is winning because it sells you something true. Better data, not a promise to replace your team. Next, 11x. Their agent is named Alice. It runs outbound across email, LinkedIn, text, and WhatsApp. Loud brand, real technology, and now rebuilding trust after everything we just talked about. New CEO, new chapter. Watch it, but ask hard questions. Then Artisan, their agent is named Ava. She works off a contact database of more than 300 million people with a system that watches for job changes, new funding, and leadership moves. So she reaches out at the right moment. Artisan is the company that ran the billboards that said, "Stop hiring humans," bold marketing. The product question is the same as everyone else's. Do the customers stay? And for me, Ava was not a successful campaign. I tried it maybe 2 years ago, so it's been a while. But Artisan, really great company, really very helpful sales and customer service staff, but it wasn't a match for what I was working on. Then there's Rocks, the agentic CRM we covered. Big valuation, real logos aiming straight at the systems you already use. And the incumbents, Salesforce Agentforce and HubSpot Breeze, prospecting agents built into the platform you already run on. Heavier to set up, but the data is already there and the handoff to your rep is already built in. So who's winning? Clay and the incumbents, the data layer and the companies that have the distribution. Who's exposed? Standalone startup that sold you replace your sales team and now sits squeezed between churn on one side, deliverability on the other, and a CRM native agent coming down from the top. That is a hard place to stand. Let's follow the money. Now, follow the money because the checks tell you where this is going. Rocks, 1.2 billion valuation led by General Catalyst. They'd raised about 50 million before that in a C led by Sequoia and a Series A led by General Catalyst. Founded in 2024 by the former Chief Growth Officer of New Relic. Unicorn in under 2 years. The money is betting on agents owning the whole workflow. Clay, $100 million Series C at a 3.1 B valuation, led by Capital G, with Sequoia and Meritech in the round. Total raised about $204 million. The money there is betting on data and signal, which is a steadier bet. Whoever wins the agent war, they all still need clean data underneath it. Artisan, $25 million Series A, led by Glade Brook Capital, with HubSpot Ventures and Y Combinator in the round. Smaller check, big ambition. And one more worth knowing, Unify. They raised $40 million and they power outbound at companies like Cursor and Perplexity. Here's the pattern I want you to see. The biggest money is flowing to the data layer and to the agentic platforms, not the lone email robot. Spend your own budget that way, the way the smart money is spending theirs. Buy the data and the signal first. Be slow and skeptical about renting autonomous representatives. We give you 3 real results. So this isn't all theory. They come from Unify's own published customer stories. So hear them as the vendors reported numbers, but the numbers are specific and the lesson still holds. First, Perplexity, in their first 3 months, they generated $1.7 million in pipeline, more than 80 enterprise meetings, and more than 75 enterprise opportunities with no dedicated BDR. How? Not by sending more, but by choosing better. They stacked 3 signals: people who fit their ideal client profile and visited their website, decision makers already using their free or paid product, and leads who engage with marketing. They reach people who are already raising their hand. Second, Spellbook. They generated $2.5 million in pipeline and $250,000 in closed revenue over 7 months. And here's the tell. Their email opens moved from 20% from their old setup to about 70% in the new setup. That lift didn't come from clever words. It came from deliverability and targeting, the unglamorous plumbing. That's where the money was hiding the whole time. Third, a quick one. A company called Pylon reported 4.2 times return on their orchestrated outbound per the same vendor's customer story. I give you that number for a reason. A clean, repeatable return multiple is exactly the thing you should ask before you sign with any vendor. they can't show you one from a named customer, that's your answer. Tools I've used this week. This week, I've been using and setting up Revo.ai, which is an agentic and AI-assisted CRM. I've been setting that up for Spec Kitty. What it claims is your team exponential revenue, eliminate the stack tax, multiply your pipeline, and close faster. I found it was very easy to set up Revo. The customer support is amazing. They've got prospect research built in and a fairly simple tool process to be able to chat with an agent, sort of like being in Claude Code or Claude Cowork, and getting things done inside the software with very little instruction. And when I do have questions, their team is available. So Revo.ai, if you're looking for an AI CRM, and they have a very interesting and aggressive product roadmap also around connecting tools and agentification over time. So I recommend you testing them out. Revo.ai. Here's the practitioner playbook. Before you go, here's a workflow you can run this week. I call it the funding trigger play, and you can build it in Clay. Step 1, set Clay to watch for funding announcements in your target market. Step 2, when a company raises, have it pull the firmographics and the right contacts automatically. Step 3, score that company against your ideal client profile before anyone writes a single word. Step 4, draft outreach that speaks to the raise and how you help them spend the money well. Step 5, and this is the one that you should not skip, keep a human on the final read and the send. Salesforce found sellers expect agents to cut research time by about a third. Take those hours back, but the call on who's worth contacting and the voice that reaches them stays yours. So here's what to carry out the door. The machine writes the email now. That was never the hard part. Earning the open and the trust, that's the work. Put AI on the research and the signal. Keep a human on the relationship. If you want to go deeper on building agents and how you actually operate, not as a gimmick, but as a real workflow, I wrote a book about it called The Agentic Pivot. It's for owners and operators putting AI agents to work without losing the human part. You can find it at aiagenticpivot.com. And I want to hear from you. Please drop your B2B prospecting questions in the comments on LinkedIn, and I'll answer them on a future show. I hope you found some value today. If you did, please refer a friend or a colleague who is serious about AI. Go learn something about AI today, please, and save some time from your work week. And with that time, spend it with your friends and family or get outside into nature away from the screens. It's Emanuel Rose, Marketing in the Age of AI.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening.